Spring Sport Championships are underway. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Christina Chambers with this week's AHSAA TV Weekly. The lineup for today, we start with outgoing Central Board President Van Phillips, who gives us his views on the strides the AHSAA has taken over the last 100 years and his thoughts about growing up in this association. Then Marvin Cho, AHSAA Assistant Director. He tells us all about the ins and outs of Spring Sports Championships, which get underway this week with tennis at Lagoon Park in Mobile Tennis Center. Plus, David Holtzford highlights package featuring soccer, baseball, and softball. You don't want to miss it. All this and more coming your way next.
Silicaga's best kept secret? No more. Harvey's on Noble is the place to go for the area's best food and drinks. Whether you're in the mood for steak, burgers, salad, seafood, or dessert, Harvey's on Noble will not disappoint, and the atmosphere is perfect for catching the big game or just relaxing after work. Harvey's is open for dinner Wednesday through Saturdays, so round up the family and we'll see you at Harvey's on Noble, downtown Silicaga.
The weather is warming up and spring is just around the corner at Miller Sand and Landscape Supply. I'm Craig Miller, and we've got something for everyone. From bulk materials like sand, gravel, and mulch to beautiful outdoor decor to make your outdoor living space the envy of the neighborhood. See our beautiful selection of Mazzarelli fountains, flowers to brighten your garden, and an outdoor center loaded with beautiful decor. Whether you need a little or a lot, visit Miller Sand and Landscape Supply.
He wears many hats, especially with the AHSAA. We have a special guest joining us today, Mr. Van Phillips, who recently retired. How are you, Mr. Phillips?
Christina, I'm great. It's so awesome to be on with you today, and just thank you all so much for what you all do for the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
It is, Mr. Phillips. It's an honor to have you on this week's show of AHSAA TV Weekly. And first off, we want to congratulate you on your retirement. Centerpoint High School principal, obviously officially retiring, and president of the AHSAA Central Board of Control. And it's such an honor to have you on today. And I must start off by asking you, what are you up to these days after announcing your retirement?
Well, I've been kind of busy. It's been big. Tell you what, since I retired, I've been busier than I was when I was not retired. But it's been great. We've been helping schools throughout the state of Alabama, trying to help mentor some young principals. A little more time, commitment to the church where I serve as pastor at Holy Trinity World Outreach Ministry in the Thomas community, and just spending some more time with my grandchildren. My son and daughter are both back in Birmingham now. They were both athletes in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. So I'm just so pleased to have them back in Birmingham and just spending more time with my wife.
Now, have you picked up any extra hobbies or maybe an extra skill set you didn't know you had with maybe, I don't know if you have any extra time after you talk about that.
I was going to be able to improve my golf game a little bit more. I haven't had the opportunity yet because I've been so busy, but I've just been trying to work on the golf game a little bit.
Now, I've heard multiple people say that you've grown up in the AHSAA. What does that mean when you hear that and people talk about it, that you've just been around the association for so long? You were a student athlete yourself, a coach, and now you're on the board. And I mean, just tell us what goes through your mind when you hear people talk about that. You've grown up in the AHSAA and you've seen it in so many different stages and just how it's grown over the past couple of years.
And, you know, I never really thought about it until we had some conversations, Christina. And then I realized that I had been a part of the Alabama High School Athletic Association about half of the years it has been in existence. You know, we celebrated 100 years of the Alabama High School Athletic Association this year. And I've been a part of the association right now since I was 12 years of age, and now I'm 62. So I spent half of my life, I spent more than half of my life as a part of the Alabama High School Athletic Association. And I guess as a student athlete, I sort of learned that things don't go always as planned. You know, we had some opportunities, you know, some Power 5 schools were looking at me to play sports, football in particular. I got hurt my senior year, and the Lord sent me to Kentucky State University. And a lot of people say, oh, man, I know you feel bad about not going to these Power 5 schools. I said, no, because God sent me a home where he wanted me to be. So as a student athlete, I sort of learned through all of, you know, I've championed wrestler, tennis, soccer, baseball, basketball, football. You know, in the spring, when I finished high school in 1978. So in a week, I would play in a soccer game, I would run in a track meet, and I would play in a baseball game all at the same time. And the coach would just come by and say, hey, I need Van, or hey, I need Roy, we got a game today. So we would have track practice, we'll leave track practice to go to the soccer match. And if we had soccer practice going on, there was a track meet going on, coaches come and get the couple of kids who were, you know, playing 2 and 3 sports at the same time. And I think I learned from that experience that coaches have to be flexible. So as a teacher, I kind of learned to prepare for the unexpected. And I think I learned that through my years as a student athlete in the state of Alabama. And then as a coach, I learned that you got to always be prepared and that you can't not plan, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I learned that as a coach. And then when I became a principal, I kind of guessed through coaching and being a part of athletics my whole life, I sort of learned you got to be firm, fair, but at the same time, you got to be consistent. Because being firm and fair and being inconsistent, people don't know where you stand. And then I guess as a central board member, I learned that there are different needs throughout the state of Alabama. And although we come and we represent a particular district in the state, that central board is a representation, and it speaks for all of the student athletes, all of the coaches, all of the parents, all of the communities, no matter where the school is located. And then I guess as a central board president, I realized that it's an awesome responsibility when a board such as the central board selects/elects you as their leader to be their voice to the general public. And it's just been awesome. It's been awesome.
How has, you talked about each stage of your career, you know, from being a student athlete to where you are now. Do you feel like because you started out as a student athlete in this association, how did that help you make decisions and help you lead the central board into making some tough decisions? Do you feel like that helped you, just being a teacher and a principal and a student athlete, just all of them? Like I said, you wear many hats.
Yes, I believe it helped me tremendously to do the job that I'm doing. And I think being a student athlete, it sort of forces you to understand it is not all about you. It forces you to really develop that team concept that together everyone accomplishes more. It helps you to take that I out of the equation and see the team. And it's the team effort, it's team success. And that's what I think I learned most from being an athlete and a coach and now serving on the central board, that I just can't look at what's going to benefit me or my district, but what's the best benefit for all concerned with the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
I know that you've announced your retirement. What are some of your favorite memories, whether if it was an athlete, teacher, principal on the central board? What are some of your favorite memories just being part of the AHSAA? And I'm sure it's hard to narrow down one or two.
I guess my favorite memory, and I have to say, to coach a child or to teach a child, and then they get what you were trying to teach. And then the joy and the excitement that they were able to garner from that experience, it is worth, and I still see students today, you know, some of my wrestlers who I taught how to throw, and he said, Mr. Phillips, I can do a lateral drop still today. It's just when you see students and, because there was some apprehension in trying to do that lateral drop, because when you try to lateral drop someone, you expose yourself as well for a counter. But for that when I saw that young man, and that was 30-some years ago, but he remembered, he said, you know something, what I learned, Coach, he said, I learned that you have to take chances in life, that you can't stay on the sideline all the time. And I guess that's what I would say is just an opportunity for students to grasp something that you were trying to teach, and they get it. That's the joy. It's not, the championships. We won championship. We had some Final Fours, but all of that's important. But that's the children learning from those educational athletic experiences that's going to foster their growth as adults.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time here with us and wish you nothing but the best. We know you've touched many lives in your career with the AHSAA, and we appreciate you. And I know all of your athletes and students that you've talked to, you carry a special meaning to them. So thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon.
Thank you, Christina. It's been my pleasure to serve as the president of the Central Board. I just really appreciate the efforts that have been done by those presidents and those executive directors before me. And I think that we will be remiss if we did not mention the hard work that our former executive director, Steve Savarese, put into this association to help afford us to be where we are today with the leadership of Mr. Alvin Briggs, and also the first African-American to serve as president. And then we also have the first female, Ms. Kim Vickers, who now serves as the associate executive director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association. So when you look around, as I begin to, to go off into the sunset, I see that Alabama is further along than most folks would think when they watch some of the things that take place in our state.
All right, well, thank you so much, and don't go anywhere. We will have more coming up after these messages with more special guests. Stay with us.
The Advantage Plus Roofing Team offers commercial and residential roofing services. Their exceptional craftsmanship, high-quality materials, and knowledgeable staff will deliver superior results at affordable prices every time. Call your local Advantage Plus Roofing office today at 256-375-9339 and find out why customers rate Advantage Plus Roofing #1 in satisfaction. Estimates are always free and financing options are available. Upgrade your home with the best roofing company in Central Alabama.
Welcome to the award-winning Choccolocco Park in Oxford, Alabama. We believe Choccolocco Park is the place to be, and our fans agree, describing the park as breathtaking, professional, and fun for all. With plenty of parking, restrooms, concessions, and a top-notch staff, we are confident your experience will be second to none. Join us today at Choccolocco Park.
Don't just dream it. Call Family Savings Credit Union. Right now, get something you want for as low as 2.24% APR. You can even apply online or by phone. Family Savings Credit Union, where your money grows with you and your family.
Hey guys, my name is Thomas Shelton, aka the Alpha Man. I'm the proud presenting sponsor of High School Primetime with Buckethead and the King. When you think high school football, think High School Primetime. And when you think of insurance, think of me, Thomas Shelton at Alpha Insurance. I'm a proud sponsor of many of our local teams. I give out over $7,500 a year to our local teams in our community. As part of Alpha, we've been in the community giving back for over 100 years, and I'd love to be your agent next time you think of insurance. Thanks so much.
Spring championships are underway, beginning with tennis in Montgomery, and there's no one better to talk about spring sport championships than Assistant AHSAA Director Marvin Cho. Welcome in, Marvin. How are you doing?
Great, Christina. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I know now is a busy time for you, starting with our tennis championships getting underway this week at Lagoon Park. What have you seen there, and just how exciting of a time is this for you guys at the AHSAA? Because we know you guys are busy as those championships get underway.
Well, Christina, this week starts just all our spring championships. Our office is always excited this time of year, get outside, get outdoors. We're actually here in Mobile at the Mobile Tennis Center, as well as at Lagoon in Montgomery for the state championships. We've got the 7As and the 4A, 5As down here in Mobile, and the 1A, 3As in Montgomery, and then the 6As will come down later this week on Thursday to Mobile as well to have their championships.
Yeah, and tell us about the tournament schedule and format and how these champions are decided.
So it's a 2-day tournament for all classifications. We play singles and doubles. I know for the 7As, they got all the way to the semis in doubles, and they'll get to the finals in singles on day 1. So we'll really have a lot of championship round tennis in day 2 for both sides, 4A, 5 for both classes, excuse me. So just exciting, a lot of tennis. You know, if you could see this place, there's just tents everywhere. The excitement's around. Mobile does a great job, I know, as well as Montgomery, welcoming these kids into their city. So just excited to be here and just love the atmosphere.
What's the environment? I know we're not personally down there, but in Mobile and Montgomery, what's the environment like as you guys watch these athletes compete this week?
Well, you're talking about the best of the best in our state for the sport of tennis, and you know it's just exciting to have the fans so close to the courts and the cheering for the kids. That's the exciting part, and you know, tennis does a lot of times doesn't get the recognition it deserves, and I think Mobile and this facility does a great job promoting it.
Now, you're not only involved in tennis, we know soccer, even in the fall, you've got cross country, esports, you stay busy. Do you have a favorite sport that you love to watch? Even at wrestling, we've seen you there, in bowling. Do you have a favorite sport, or do you like to, you know, really watch all these athletes compete all year long?
Honestly, Christina, I love the greatest part about this job is getting to go to all of our championships. You know, I love every sport that we have, and I just love being at all the championships, watching our kids compete at the highest levels. But I really don't have a favorite sport. All of our sports are great, and I'm thankful I get to be a part of a lot of these sports.
Now, how many student athletes actually participate in these sports each year? You know, it seems like it's continuing to grow and grow each year, the amount of athletes that the AHSAA has participating in all sports all year long.
Yeah, I believe when I started, you know, close to 9 years ago, we were roughly in the 130,000, 140,000 student athlete range. I believe we've surpassed over 200,000 student athletes now within our state, participating in all of our different types of sports and activities. And so, you know, high school sports is just something that can't compare to anything else. And we're thankful at the association we get to be a part of it.
Now, do you play tennis yourself?
I used to play tennis in high school. It's probably been a while. I've gone out and hit with my son a couple of times, but I don't get on the courts quite enough.
It's a very hard sport to learn, and I'm sure you're enjoying watching it. And hey, we wish all those athletes competing this week the best of luck as they try to bring home that blue map and that state championship. So you get back to tennis. We know you have a lot to do there, and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Christina. You have a great day too.
All right, don't go anywhere. We'll have more coming up right after these messages.
I'm Alan Parnell of the Parnell Insurance Agency. For 28 years, we've provided our clients in Alabama and Georgia with home, automobile, life, business insurance, and surety bonds. Our Oxford personal line staff is Michelle, Christy, Elisa, and Ty. Our Oxford administrative staff is Alan, Amber, Carrie, and Ty. We invite you to come to one of our offices in Oxford, Alabama or Tallapoosa, Georgia, and discuss your insurance needs with one of our insurance professionals.
Hello, I'm Taylor Sloan with the City of Oxford, with a word about one of our city's most precious resources, water. Clean water enriches our lives in so many ways, but we cannot afford to take it for granted. Remember, every time you pour something unnatural down the drain or in the environment, and every time you litter, our beautiful lakes and creeks suffer. Our city is beautiful. Let's all join together to keep it that way. Stop pollution where it starts, and help protect our waters for life.
HMR of Alabama provides services for Alabama's state veterans' homes and is proud to serve the Colonel Robert Howard State Veterans Home in Pell City. With competitive pay and benefits, your career serving those who served our country can begin today. If you like to help people and enjoy new challenges, contact HMR of Alabama by logging on to hmrveteranservices.com and choose the Careers tab to find out how you can join the HMR team.
Sylacauga's best kept secret? No more. Harvey's on Noble is the place to go for the area's best food and drinks. Whether you're in the mood for steak, burgers, salad, seafood, or dessert, Harvey's on Noble will not disappoint, and the atmosphere is perfect for catching the big game or just relaxing after work. Harvey's is open for dinner Wednesday through Saturdays, so round up the family and we'll see you at Harvey's on Noble, downtown Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for those most anticipated highlights. Thanks to David Holtzford, who puts this amazing package together each week. We start this week off with Austin versus Bob Jones softball. We picked this one up in the bottom of the first. Austin High School's Kinley Hillary in the batter's box for the Black Bears. She rips a home run, knocking this one out of the park to give her team the lead. She would reach the bases several times again throughout this game, but in the circle, she was a master. She was very strong with 12 strikeouts in the game. We see a sampling of her pitching mastery here. She picked up the 4-2 win as Austin improves to 35-5-1 on the season. Heading over to Brantley versus Geneva softball, the defending AHSAA Class 1A state champs Brantley taking on strong Class 4A Geneva. The Bulldogs get things going early with Alex Grimes, who drives in the first Brantley run on a fielder's choice. Then later on, next up, her teammate Anna Free follows with a solo home run to give the Bulldogs a 2-0 lead. Geneva trails 2-1 when Allie Henderson comes to the plate and slugs as well-placed bases clearing triple to give the Panthers a 4-2 lead. Brantley, though, would rally late with Kaylee Navarre hitting a ground ball to short, but the throw to home went awry as two runners score on the play. Brantley would close with two more runs to win it 6-4. Moving on to baseball, we have Trinity Presbyterian at Prattville Christian, two Class 3A powerhouses. Trinity Presbyterian and Prattville Christian squaring off in Class 3A baseball action at PCA. Grayson Ash gets things started for the visiting Trinity Wildcats with this fielder's choice bringing home Simmons Bird to give Trinity a 1-0 lead. How about Ben Easterling, though? He booms an opposite field home run later in the first inning for a 2-0 Wildcats lead. Easterling delivers a key 2 RBI hit later in the game, scoring Bird and Brady Rascal to build a 4-0 lead in the 5th inning. Trinity would go on to win this one 5-2 to close out the regular season with a 23-4 record. Both teams will be in the 3A state playoffs when round 1 gets underway this weekend. Over to Hoover versus Oak Mountain baseball in Class 7A. We pick up this action in a doubleheader. Taylor Bush starts off the action with a sacrifice fly that drives home Andrew Hunt for the first run of the game. 2021 North All-Star MVP Davis Gillespie delivers a long ball home run for the Eagles as Oak Mountain takes game 1 5-2. Next game though, Hoover's William Steele gets things started driving in a run as the Bucks take an early 1-0 lead. In the second inning, Hoover's R.J. Hamilton goes deep, hitting a 3-run homer to erase a 3-2 deficit as Hoover takes a 5-3 lead. The Bucks closing out strong, winning 7-3 to gain a split in the Class 7A Twin Bill. Hey, moving on to the soccer field, we have Homewood versus Chelsea. We close this week's highlights with Chelsea. In this Class 6A boys soccer match, the Hornets grab an early lead on a goal from Andrew Texera, but it would be all Patriots from that point. Yusef Nasser scores 2 minutes later for Homewood to tie the score at 1-1. Yusef's brother Hatim Nasser, as well as Fox Landrum, Brian Sokel, and Sam Malone would add goals in the first half as Homewood builds a 6-1 lead. The Patriots cruise on to victory with this one, 8-1 with 2 goals in the second half. We want to thank David Holtzford again for bringing us those amazing highlights in all of our NFHS network schools. Thank you for what you do, capturing all that action. If you would like to send some highlights in for next week's show featuring your school, please email them to dholtzford@ahsaa.com, and maybe we'll see your action right here on AHSAA TV Weekly. Well, that'll do it for now. Be sure to tune in next week for more highlights and interviews and interesting stories we bring to you each week. Thanks so much.